I mistook my boss's contact information for my dad's and started hitting him up every day. Daddy, can you take me on your next business trip? Daddy, your little baby is broke. Later, my boss and I went on that business trip. We both got drunk. After we slept together, I panicked and ran. He sent me a furious text. We did the deed, you called me daddy, and now you've run off with another guy. So what does that make me? Your actual father? After my dad struck it rich, he got a little too full of himself and tried to set me up with a guy 6 years older than me. I refused. So, I ran away from home. My dad declared he was cutting off all my cards and that I wouldn't last 3 days before I came crawling back. It's been a week now. I haven't gone back. My dad lost the bet. That's because I took all my designer bags and watches with me. And to prove I could make it on my own, I found a job at a publicly traded company for $3,000 a month. A week went by, and my dad was the first to crack. He sent me a new friend request under the username Camellia. I left him hanging for a day before deciding to give him a way out. I peeked at his social feed. He just went to Zurich. Oh, fantastic. Your only daughter is slaving away for $3,000 a month while you're in Switzerland enjoying blue skies and the Alps. I swallowed my pride and sent him a message, Daddy, can you take me on your next business trip? Still no reply. I spammed him with a bunch of pleading kitten stickers. This little kitten has no money for food. Camellia replied. I sighed. Dad was probably still mad. But I wasn't going to give in. Transfer me $15,000 to show me you're serious, or I'm never calling you daddy again. The bags and watches I listed online weren't selling. People thought they were too expensive. I was practically giving them away at a fraction of the price, but they still didn't believe they were authentic. I was starting to pay for my hotel room day by day. Daddy, surely you don't want your daughter living under a bridge, do you? All morning, Camellia ignored me. After lunch, I messaged him again, Daddy, you're so cruel. Can you really bear to watch your little kitten starve? Finally, just before the end of the workday, he transferred me $15,000. I immediately replied, I love you the most, Daddy. I nearly jumped out of my chair, excitedly packed my bag, and got ready to clock out and treat myself to some high-end sushi. Just as I stood up, my manager stopped me. Anna, no one else has left yet. I glanced around. Oh. Well, I'm leaving now. He shot me a look of pure disappointment and whispered, the CEO hasn't even left. If you walk out now, don't bother coming in tomorrow. I raised my voice. You pay me $3,000 a month. Do you really expect me to work overtime? My voice echoed through the deathly quiet office. I needed sushi. Sushi. Click. The door to the CEO's office opened. The rumor was that the CEO, Nathan Wilson, had just returned from Europe. I looked up and my eyes met his. I have to say, I've run in all the top circles in LA, and I've never seen anyone this drop-dead gorgeous. He was wearing a dark, expensive-looking suit that fit his tall, lean frame perfectly. My eyes traveled up. His brow was prominent and his nose was high and straight, giving him the intimidating air of someone at a negotiating table. The broad shoulder blades and lean, narrow waist suggested he was in great shape. He was handsome, but his expression was sharp. He looked like he'd be hard to talk to. My manager scurried over with a smile. Is there anything you need, Mr. Wilson? Nathan glanced at me, and I was sure he was about to make the entire office work late. Just as I was preparing to fight back, he cleared his throat. Nathan's thin lips parted as he looked at me. It's quitting time. At his command, everyone cheered and started packing up. I was already packed, so I strode to the front of the line. Nathan walked behind me. No one else dared to follow, preferring to wait until the big boss had left. But my reservation at the fancy sushi place was about to expire. They wouldn't hold my table. I hurried into the elevator in my heels. Nathan took one long stride and stepped in with me. I shuffled to the side and offered a polite smile. Miss Brooke. HM. The CEO knows every employee's name? What a disaster for someone making only $3,000 a month. There's an AI chip conference in California next Wednesday. Why was he telling me this? Who talks about work after hours? I don't care if you're handsome, you're not paying me double time. I gave a weak oh. You'll be accompanying me. Also, I'll have HR adjust your salary to $10,000 a month. Nathan was already out of the elevator, leaving me frozen in place. I got a promotion for leaving on time? I guess making money is this easy. I immediately texted my dad, "Dearest Daddy, I'm going to California. I'm so happy." I sent him a flurry of cute kitten stickers. Camellia, okay. When I got to the restaurant, I snapped a picture. Daddy. This sushi is amazing. We should come here together next time. In the photo, I held up a spoonful of fresh sea urchin and gave the camera a wink. It took Camellia a while to reply, "When is next time?" I thought about it. I still didn't want to see my dad. The moment we met, he just bombarded me with more blind date proposals. First, it was a guy 6 years older. Next, it would probably be one of those notorious LA playboys. In our circle, that was pretty much the entire dating pool. I texted back, "Next time is next time, Daddy." I sent a pouting kitten sticker. Camellia. I sensed he was a little annoyed. I tried to smooth things over. Daddy, don't be mad. Getting angry gives you wrinkles, and you won't look handsome anymore. Camellia, you think I'm old? Why was my dad so chatty today? Usually, he just sends a couple of curt replies. It seemed my running away really had wounded his lonely old heart. I laid it on thick. "Daddy, you're the most handsome, the absolute best. You're so successful and dashing, most men your age can't even compare. So, how about sending your darling baby a little more cash? Camellia, you have received a transfer of 30,000.00. What's that saying? The key to talking to men of any age is a basic understanding of child psychology. Especially when dealing with my unreliable dad. Right after dinner, HR messaged me. My new title was assistant to the CEO. $10,000 a month, plus my own office. Dad, I'm not coming home. I was starting to think that leaving the nest wasn't so bad after all. There wasn't even any rain. At this rate, I felt like I could buy out our family's company. I'd been thinking about it for the past couple of days, and I really had never seen Nathan Wilson in any of my social circles. I asked around, but no one knew any gossip or stories about him. A guy who owns a publicly traded company like this couldn't possibly be that squeaky clean, could he? Wait a minute. A promotion and a raise. Could he be into me? I looked at my face in the hotel mirror. Well, it was only natural. If my blind date had been a guy like him, who would ever run away? My mind was already wandering, but a message in the work chat instantly doused my excitement. I usually don't check work messages after hours, but someone in a smaller group chat was gossiping about why Nathan had returned to the country. I clicked on it. Of course. A perfect man like him was back to marry his fiancée. So much for my budding office romance. My future looked bleak. Fine. I was determined to run this company into the ground. I woke up bright and early and put on a full face of beautiful makeup. When I got to the office, HR led me to my private office. It was right next to the CEO's. The door to his office was slightly ajar. I couldn't tell if anyone was inside. Yawning, I saw someone walk by with a cup of coffee. Without looking at their face, I said casually, "Make me a cup, too. I'm dead tired." I regretted it the second the words left my mouth. This wasn't home. What was I doing, pulling that spoiled princess act? The HR person froze, then said awkwardly, "Good morning, Mr. Wilson." I snapped my head up and saw Nathan's chiseled features. The HR rep said hello and then bolted. Nathan raised an eyebrow at me. He said, "I just made this. Do you want it?" I don't know if I was imagining it, but Nathan didn't seem quite so intimidating anymore. While I was still dazed, he handed me the coffee and went back into his office. I sat at my desk, staring blankly at the cup. I took a sip. Wow, it's better than the coffee our housekeeper makes. I snapped a picture. "Daddy, this coffee is delicious." Camellia copied me and sent a dancing kitten sticker. An old man trying to fit in with the youth. My relationship with my dad had thawed considerably, so I decided I'd go home after I got back from California next week. After all, the breakfast at this 5-star hotel was truly terrible. For the past few days, the CEO had been acting strangely, driving me to and from work every day. It was almost like he was my assistant. I was on the verge of asking him if he was into me. But I don't do love triangles. Nathan was swamped with work, so I was in charge of arranging our trip to California. When he saw the 2 seats I had booked far apart from each other, his expression darkened. I explained with total confidence, "It's like this, boss." I snore. Nathan pressed his lips together. He leaned in and whispered in my ear, "You call me boss in private, too?" The proximity felt a little too intimate, and I leaned away. What was that supposed to mean? Did he know I'd nicknamed him Nathan the Model? By the time the plane landed, it was past midnight. I was completely out of it from the jet lag and just followed Nathan into the car and to the hotel in a daze. When I woke up the next day, it was already afternoon. I saw a work email from Nathan saying he'd gone to a meeting and that I could do whatever I wanted with the rest of my time. I rubbed my hands together. My best gay friend, Ryan Smith, had heard I was coming to California a few days ago. He recommended several fun bars. He said that when I arrived, he absolutely had to show me what the foreign models were like. I put on some fiery, hot girl makeup, threw on a little slip dress, and headed to the bar. When Ryan saw me, he disentangled himself from some hunk and rushed over to greet me. He was my high school classmate. Because he partied so hard back then, his dad shipped him off to the US. His dad thought being in an unfamiliar country would make him tone it down, but he ended up partying even harder. The 5 male models Ryan ordered were all muscular, oozing raw, wild energy. Their shirts were loosely buttoned, offering an unobstructed view as they poured my drinks. Ryan was surrounded by 3 of them, and 2 sat next to me. I was completely lost in their endless praises of my exotic beauty. Just as I was getting drunk enough to lean in for a kiss, a hand clamped onto my wrist like a viper. I looked up and saw a man even more handsome than the model standing before me. His eyes were dark behind a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, and one hand held me in a vice grip as he looked down on the scene. I frowned and mumbled to Ryan, "This guy's my type, but damn, he has a strong grip." Ryan frantically shook his head at me. "I think that's your boss." Before I could process what Ryan was saying, the viper dragged me away. He threw me into the car but didn't let go of my arm. I struggled, but I couldn't break free. So I decided to play dirty, leaning in and breathing hotly against his ear. "Hey handsome, how about you let me go?" The anger in his eyes hadn't faded. He released my arm only to grab my waist. I clearly saw a vein throbbing on his forehead. "You love to play, huh? Daddy will play with you." A jolt went through me, and I sobered up a little. This wasn't some model, it was Nathan. Our eyes met, so close we could feel each other's breath. It was hard to tell whose eyes held more desire. The atmosphere in the car heated up, and we slowly drew closer. I saw a deep, dark ocean of lust in his eyes, threatening to swallow me whole. I swallowed hard. "Wait. You have a fiancé." Nathan's hands kneaded my waist, not letting go. He spoke slowly, right next to my ear. "She said I was too old and ran off." He made it sound so pathetic. His warm breath, tinged with alcohol, washed over me. I wasn't sure which of us was more drunk. My hand was guided lower and lower, and I dazedly thought that his fiancée was really missing out. In an instant, like magnets, our lips and teeth were grinding together, saliva mixing. I was like a fish out of water, struggling to breathe. He let go for a second. But only for a second, before pulling me back in and starting all over again. The Klein blue of the California night was the perfect catalyst. Nathan's long, strong fingers were my best catalyst. Nathan asked me in a low voice how I felt, sounding very sincere. But his movements had a punishing edge, insisting I call him Daddy. In the end, my voice was hoarse, and all I could do was weakly cling to Nathan and call out his name. He kissed my damp hair. Such a good little kitten. I fell into a deep sleep. The next day when I woke up, room service arrived with a meal. On the bedside table was a handwritten card from Nathan. Good morning and good afternoon, little kitten. Eat well. Someone will be by with some dresses after your meal. A few things from yesterday's meeting need to be clarified today. See you tonight. Nathan. Such a traditional card from such a traditional man. But my heart felt like it was soaking in strawberry soda, bubbling up with tiny pink bubbles. After eating, I was trying to pick out an evening dress. I was trying to figure out how to best hide the marks on my body when the doorbell rang. I opened the door to see a sneaky-looking Ryan. He looked me up and down, a smirk playing on his lips. Damn, girl. You already landed the handsome CEO. I winked at him. But he glanced left and right, then shoved me back into the room. The smile vanished from his face, replaced by a look of panic. Anna, we need to run. Now. I was shocked. Who did you piss off? He grabbed my arm, his voice low. It's you. After that guy took you last night, I had someone look into him. We're in real trouble this time. Ryan questioned me sternly. Do you have any idea who you slept with? Was the notoriously unreliable Ryan really lecturing me? I answered bluntly, Nathan Wilson. My boss. He clapped his hands together. And you really think he's just the CEO of some ordinary public company? I've partied my way through every scene in LA and North America, and I've never heard the name Nathan Wilson. Any idea why? Because he's not in your circles? Ryan shook his head with an air of profound mystery. The Wilsons. That's the Wilson family. They've been low profile since my great-grandfather's generation. Their businesses and properties are all over the world. This generation doesn't even have to lift a finger. And you just slept with their only son. So what? It was consensual. Ryan gave me another look, full of disappointment. He's in California to find his fiancée. Her family is in the arms business and has deep ties to the local gangs. A little fun between adults is one thing, Anna, but what are we going to do if his fiancée finds out? The Wilsons would never marry into a small-time family like ours. What if this was just a whim for Nathan? What will you do? They could snap their fingers and make us disappear from the face of the earth. If little people like us get caught in the middle, we'll be eaten alive. I knew something was off yesterday. I can't believe I'd never heard of a guy that hot. Ryan looked genuinely terrified. The arms business? You mean they could just shoot me here? My voice trembled. You've got to be kidding me. Did I really just provoke a living demon? My face went pale. Ryan knew I wasn't convinced, so he pulled out his phone and showed me a picture. In a lavish ballroom, Nathan stood next to an ethereal, otherworldly beautiful woman. Their arms were linked as they laughed and chatted with other business and political leaders. So Nathan had lied to me, saying his fiancée ran off. He came to California to chase after her. Ryan cursed under his breath. What a bastard. He's an even bigger player than I am. Anna, we really screwed up this time. Next time, I promise I'll get you your revenge. I was furious and humiliated. A wave of shame washed over me, and I felt tears welling up in my eyes. It was the helpless feeling of being scammed and having no one to report it to. I wiped away a tear and threw on a random sweatshirt and jeans. I tossed a wad of cash onto the bed. On the back of his card, I wrote my reply: bad morning, bad afternoon, and bad evening. Nathan, no wonder they say men are washed up after 25. You were honestly pretty average. Take the money, buy yourself some blue pills, and get your strength up. Ryan gave me a thumbs up. A real woman. I respect it. If you're gonna play the game, you can't be afraid to lose. I grabbed all my things and fled back to the States with Ryan. On the plane, I blocked Nathan's email and submitted my resignation to HR. It was convenient, really. In the half a month I'd worked there, I hadn't added many people's contact info. Ryan sat next to me, his pretty face with its delicate nose and lips looking soft and handsome. A wicked thought crossed my mind. You don't mind taking a picture with me, do you? Ryan was busy inspecting his ex-boyfriend's social media accounts. He gave me a distracted sure and looked up. Click. I posted the picture of me and Ryan in the company group chat. Then I left the group. Ryan's face went white. Did you just go public with our relationship in your work chat? Yep, I nodded. Nathan's work account is in that chat. Ryan was a little stunned. You never added his personal account? I shook my head. Nathan's profile picture looked like a bot's. Besides, he never said a word in the group chat. Who would dare add him? He probably wouldn't have accepted anyway. That's why we always communicated through work email. Ryan sighed, but then nodded in approval. Starting a rumor with me? You could do worse. He handed me a tissue. Don't cry. I'll find you a good man when we get back. I wiped my nose. I'm swearing off love. In reality, the moment the plane landed, I had Ryan's butler take my luggage, and we both collapsed into the arms of some models to cry our eyes out. Ryan was an absolute menace. No one in LA could control him. On top of that, he'd had his fill of guys in the States and was craving some hometown flavor. So we decided to party until we dropped. I couldn't keep up and went back to my hotel early. Just before I passed out, my phone screen lit up. Camelia? Camelia, where are you? Great. I just got back from California, and from the looks of it, my dad was still determined to set me up with that old guy. I didn't reply. I shut off my phone and texted Ryan, don't tell anyone where I am, including my dad. Ryan, you got it. I scrolled aimlessly through my phone. That scumbag Nathan, was he really not going to contact me at all? I posted a picture of me with another man in the work chat. Whatever. I was probably just a fling to him. I tried to find information online that could take down the Wilson family, but it was like an ant trying to shake a tree. I gave up. I woke up and checked my phone. Camelia had called me countless times. It was getting on my nerves. I blocked him, too. I called Ryan. Hey, you mentioned you had a winery in Napa? Yeah, an ex gave it to me. What's up? His voice was raspy, like he'd been out all night. I tooted. I'm just saying, even if you're made of steel, you should probably slow down a little. Ryan, when did you start sounding like my ex-boyfriend? Never mind. I continued, I don't want to be in LA anymore. I was thinking of heading to Napa to clear my head. Oh. I'll send you the address in a bit, Ryan said lazily. Then he asked, hey, you need me to come with you? No, it's okay. Hearing the dejection in my voice, he suddenly perked up as if he'd had a shot of adrenaline. No way. Sisterhood before anything. I'm definitely coming with you. He bought 2 plane tickets right then and there. But I waited at the gate and never saw Ryan. Right before boarding, he sent me a frantic voice message. Sis, you go on to Napa first. I just saw my ex-boyfriend. Holy crap, how did he get even hotter? Once I have him wrapped around my little finger again, I'll get him to take care of Nathan for you. You think I'm gonna believe you, or you think I'm gonna believe Elvis is alive? Whatever. My sister was rekindling an old flame. I wished him the best. I replied, remember to bring plenty of protection. Ryan sent back an okay hand emoji, always. The winery was near a beautiful old monastery, and on my first day, I went to light some incense and pray. I prayed devoutly, Buddha, please ensure that anyone who betrays a true heart goes broke forever. For the past 2 days, every time I closed my eyes to sleep, all I could see was Nathan's face, his brow furrowed in pleasure. Every time it happened, I wanted to slap myself. I should be out partying, living it up like Ryan, indulging in every pleasure. I just needed a little more cash. So I opened my chat with Camellia. Daddy, wanna buy some wine? After sending the message, something felt off. I'd been so heartbroken I hadn't paid attention to my messages. I finally noticed that among the dozens of missed calls, there was one text message. Camellia, we did the deed, you called me daddy, and now you've run off with another guy. So what does that make me? Your actual father? What? Isn't he my father? It looked like my dad had sent the text to the wrong person, and his girlfriend had run off with someone else. My dad sure knows how to have fun. I'm getting a stepmom? After a whirlwind of speculation, a new message from Camellia came in. Where are you? Why does he keep asking where I am? Is he that desperate to drag me back for a blind date? The wine is $30,000 a bottle. Buy one, Daddy, and I'll tell you. Camellia, you have received a transfer of $30,000. 00. He agreed that quickly. Camellia, so, where are you? I could practically feel my dad's anger through the text. And he's questioning me? I immediately replied to his earlier message, the one about Daddy and running off. Dad, you sent that to the wrong person. I won't interfere if you found me a stepmom. But please don't make your baby girl go on a blind date with some old guy. I'm begging you. I sent a crying kitten sticker. Then another, old guys can't perform. Seriously, a friend of mine told me firsthand. I thought we were falling in love, but it turned out I was just an old man's plaything. For a long time, my dad didn't reply. I figured he was struggling with what to say. Finally, close to midnight. Camellia, really? They can't? I sent a nodding kitten sticker. Then a crying kitten. Then a hugging kitten. For the next few days, every time Camellia asked where I was, I made him buy more wine. But even after he bought it, I still wouldn't tell him where I was. He had figured out I was in Napa, but he didn't know my exact location. Suddenly, the financial news was flooded with stories about the Wilson family. Most of it was about Nathan taking over as the head of the family empire. I ground my teeth. Ha! Good for you. Camellia suddenly texted me, I'm close to catching you. I replied, Daddy, if you come to Napa to catch me, I'll shave my head and become a nun at the monastery. And I will pray every day for the Wilson family to go bankrupt. My daily entertainment consisted of figuring out how to spend the $30,000 allowance I was getting each day. I was in the car on my way back from a shopping trip when I got a text from Ryan. Babe, I told my ex-hubby you were at the winery. That should be fine, right? Ryan, he insisted on asking me at a vulnerable moment. I had no choice but to surrender and sell you out. I was confused. I have zero connection to Lucas Liu. Why would he be asking about me? Ryan, I'm starting to suspect Lucas used his good looks on me for intel. Could he be working for Nathan's fiancée? I was wondering why he's been so passionate these last few days. Lucas has me locked up now. He says he's going to teach me to behave. He keeps hinting that I've pissed off someone I shouldn't have. What do I do? What do I do? My hands started to tremble. I tried to calm myself. It's fine. Guns are illegal in this country. Me, is it really that serious? I mean, what powerful family doesn't have a few scandals? Even if the Wilsons came after me. The driver hadn't even reached the winery yet, but I could already feel something was wrong. The road was nearly deserted. There were no vineyard workers. As we neared the winery, I saw a line of bodyguards. They definitely weren't hired by Ryan to protect me, he could barely protect himself right now. I immediately told the driver to turn around. Run, you idiot, run. The winery was completely surrounded. I ran to a bar, on the verge of tears, and immediately called Camellia. The call connected in a single ring. I sobbed into the phone, "Wah, Daddy, come save me. I think someone's trying to kill me. I'll never be difficult with you again. I'll go on a blind date with whoever you want. I won't trick you into buying wine anymore. Camellia, address." I cried as I sent him the location, completely failing to notice that his voice sounded nothing like my dad's. I sent him the address of a discreet bar, locked the door to my private room, and shakily took a gulp of hard liquor. If Nathan's fiancée was really coming to settle the score, I'd just tell her Nathan seduced me first. So what? Her man was the one causing trouble, and she was coming after me to kill me. Did she really need to hire so many bodyguards? While my mind was racing, Camellia called. I answered. "Daddy?" "Open the door." I finally realized that, through the door of the private room, I couldn't even hear the bar's loud music anymore. Who had made the bar go silent? In the suddenly dead quiet bar, all I could hear was a low voice on the other side of the door telling me to open it. The voice didn't sound like my dad's. Before I could react, my hand, as if possessed, was already on the doorknob. A gentle pull, and I looked up. I fell into a pair of dark eyes that had been haunting my thoughts. Nathan's gaze was like scattered sparks from a roaring fire, scorching my soul. For a split second, I wanted to run again. But my wrist was caught in an iron grip. Nathan lifted his eyelids slowly. His eyes were dark as he asked, word by word, "Thinking of running again?" Nathan dragged me into the room and locked the door. I scrambled to the farthest corner and glared at him. "What do you want?" "My dad is on his way." "What do you think I want?" His deep, magnetic voice carried an undercurrent of ice. A dangerous glint appeared in his eyes, swirling with a possessiveness he couldn't hide. I took a deep breath. "Ha." As if I'd dare to guess what the great Mr. Wilson is thinking. Nathan narrowed his eyes, picked up the glass I'd been drinking from, and swirled the remaining liquor. Under my watchful gaze, he casually drank it. Then he slowly walked over and cornered me. There was no way for me to move. Every part of him felt dangerous. "I want Miss Brooke to take responsibility for me." His breath washed over me, still smelling of alcohol. I swallowed hard. The Wilson family was so petty. It was just one wild night. Did he really expect me to take responsibility? Money's not an object. "How much do you want?" Nathan blinked, as if surprised by my response. His deep eyes stared into mine as he slowly massaged my earlobe. "I don't want money. I want Anna. You have a fiancé and you're still pulling this crap." I'd have to be an idiot not to understand what he was implying. My legs felt weak. I couldn't make another mistake. You, wait." He was getting closer, and I started to panic. "I have a boyfriend." I blurted out. He captured my lips, swallowing the rest of my words. He twisted and tangled with my mouth, then gave me a punishing bite. When he finally let me go, I was panting. "I don't mind." He stared at me for a moment before helping me catch my breath. While soothing me, he demanded, "You mind that I'm old, but you don't mind that he's gay?" What did his sexuality have to do with anything? Why did he sound so angry? I was the one who should be angry. This was so unfair. He kissed me again. He held me captive in his space, always taking what he wanted. A wave of indignation washed over me. I bit my slightly swollen lip. I said fiercely, "I mind. I said I mind. I mind that you're old. I mind that you have a fiancé. I mind that you treated me like a game. I mind that you just drank from my glass, and I mind that you, Nathan Wilson, do whatever you want." I ran all the way to Napa, and you still came after me. I wiped away my tears and pushed him away. I squared my shoulders and walked out, mumbling, I'm going to find my dad. I'm going home. Don't follow me. I made it to the edge of the lake before I answered Camelia's call. Daddy, where are you? It's me. Nathan. My mind went blank. Was I seeing ghosts? I looked at the contact name on my phone. My dad had always used the nickname Camellia. It was because we used to have a red camellia garden that my mom had meticulously cared for. It was beautiful in the spring. After my mom passed away, my dad never changed his username. I scrolled up through our chat history. It was wrong from the very beginning. I had just assumed Camellia was my dad. But Nathan's username was also Camellia. So from the moment he added me, I had it all wrong. Anna, after you disappeared, I realized you didn't mean daddy in that way. Anna, can I explain? I was still reeling from the humiliation of calling him daddy every day and asking him for money. And our most recent chats were me tricking him into buying wine. I managed an O. I don't have any fiancé other than you. I don't know what gave you that impression, but it must be my fault, and I apologize. When you first messaged me, it may have seemed like a random mistake to you. But even if that mistake hadn't happened, would have found a way to get close to you. I'd been crying for a while, and my brain was low on oxygen. I couldn't process it all. No fiancé other than me. Did that mean I was his fiancé? What was going on? If you don't mind, I'll continue. I admit I had an arranged marriage partner a long time ago, but that was years ago, and I never agreed to it. His voice slowly softened. You probably don't remember, but we met once before, in your family's red camellia garden. Your father mentioned you had a large patch of red camellias, so I begged my father to accept your family's invitation. And in the garden, I saw you. My thoughts drifted back. It was a long, long time ago, when we still lived at the old house. Some very important people were visiting, and the adults were meeting in the living room. I was wandering around, bored, when I saw a teenage boy sitting in our camellia garden with a little girl who was crying her eyes out. The little girl wouldn't stop crying, so the boy unwrapped a lollipop to soothe her. I was losing my baby teeth at the time, and my mom wouldn't let me have any sugar. I was so jealous I started crying, too. I grabbed onto the boy's leg and started throwing a tantrum. Wah, I'm crying, too. You have to give me a lollipop. My face flushed red. Why was I always so unreasonable whenever I was around Nathan? Give me candy. Give me money. If you don't, I'll throw a fit. If you don't, I'll cry. He sighed and continued, after that, I asked about you. But my father told me my marriage was already decided. He said that in the Wilson family, we don't get to choose who we marry. So I had to climb, step by step, to the center of power, and only then could I go to your father and ask him to arrange a blind date for us. But you refused and ran away. His voice suddenly sounded hurt. Anna, do you really not like me? He asked with such sincerity. Was that night really not good? Then his tone turned wicked. I'm only 6 years older than you, I work out all the time. Is that still not good enough? It's hard to take power in the Wilson family, so it took me a long time. Anna, do you really mind the age difference that much? So many questions. Just as I was about to answer, my phone died. Oh. I looked around frantically. Where could I charge it? Why did it have to die now? I was suddenly anxious, worried that Nathan wouldn't hear my response. I spun around and bumped right into a familiar embrace. Nathan's eyes were deep as he looked at my tear-stained face. He let out a helpless sigh and said slowly, You cry so easily. But this time, I don't have a lollipop. What should I do? I mimicked his tone. What should we do? In the car, he placed my hand on his chest. Through the cotton fabric, I could feel the powerful beat of his heart. Anna, please don't mind it anymore, okay? Once my phone was charging, I found the picture Ryan had sent me and showed it to him. For a moment, even the powerful Nathan Wilson looked stunned. He pulled me onto his lap and said with a wry smile, "This is my sister. You two met when you were little. Who gave you this photo? They have no conscience, slandering me like this." His hand slowly moved lower as he whispered in my ear, "Anna, I work out every day." His fingertips brushed my lips, sending a tingle spreading through my whole body. I finally understood why Nathan kept telling me he worked out every day. Rain began to fall outside, pattering on the camellia blossoms. The camellia, unable to bear the weight, bent its stem to an impossible degree. It seemed to be praying for the rain to lessen, to spare the poor little flower, to not be so fast, so heavy. Lighter, slower. As the storm raged, the camellia trembled uncontrollably. Finally, it couldn't help but cry out. He just lifted his eyes to look at me, his gaze filled with deep desire. It was a look full of passion and provocation, enough to melt a person's bones. Every touch was like a silent, fiery clash. He soothed me, "Don't be scared, Anna. It made it so easy to mistake the culprit before me for a gentleman here to rescue me." His words were full of sweet promises, but his actions were merciless. In the end, I could barely lift a finger. Was it just average this time? Did you enjoy yourself this time? Anna, don't run away again. After returning to LA from Napa, I finally went home after being gone for nearly a month. When my dad saw me, he looked like he wanted to throw his laptop at my head. He was dripping with sarcasm. Well, Her Highness has returned? I went to hug him. "Daddy." He waved me off. "Don't. I can't handle it. You run away from home, and I was so worried you'd starve that I stuffed several Patek Philippe watches into your suitcase. And what do? You turn around and sell them online. For 1/10 of their value. Do you have a brain?" I pouted. Fine. My dad looked at me. "You've lost weight. I'll have Mrs. Liu make soup today. If you didn't want to go on the blind date, you could have just said so. Did you really have to run away?" My dad's eyes grew red as he spoke. He sighed. "But I won't approve of you and Ryan Smith either. That playboy has been trouble since he was a kid, famous for it in LA and North America. If you dare marry him, I'll hang myself at your mother's grave." Just as my dad finished his tirade, Ryan appeared at our door. His voice boomed, "Anna. I heard you landed Nathan Wilson." He walked in with a huge grin. My dad's face darkened, but at the name Nathan Wilson, his expression immediately brightened. He clutched his chest in relief. "I misjudged your friend. If it's Nathan, then I have nothing to worry about." Ryan pulled me aside. "During an interview today, Nathan told reporters that his fiancée is you, Anna Brooke. You're amazing. Now I don't have to worry about getting shot." The great Lucas Liu finally decided to let me out today. He took a sip of the sweet soup. "I only found out later from Lucas that when Nathan saw the picture you posted in the work chat, he went absolutely insane. He was apparently going to have me taken care of here in LA. Of course, that's what Lucas told me. Lucas claims he saved my life. I don't know if Lucas was just trying to scare me, but looking back, the Wilson family did swallow up about half of my family's businesses in those few days. But hey, the good thing is, we're both fine now, hee. Ryan showed off the diamond ring on his finger for a long time. Then he said to me with a tearful expression, "We got married abroad. Lucas said this would make me settle down and be a family man. Sis, I can't take you to bars anymore." From the balcony, I saw Nathan holding a large bouquet of camellias. He was dressed formally and knocked on the door like a perfect gentleman. He knew our passcode, which I found amusing. I asked him directly, "What are you here for?" Nathan gave me a handsome smile and answered earnestly, "Miss Brooke, I'm here for our blind date. Anna, I have lots and lots of candy. And lots of money. You can throw tantrums with me. And you can cry when you do."